Hello and welcome to the Crafty Canary. Today I'm going to do something a little bit different. Usually I do my tips or my devotionals, but today I've had a lot of people comment on my hair and ask about my hair and just my process of going silver. I like to say silver instead of gray, kind of change the paradigm about aging and our hair. But I've had a lot of comments on my hair, and so I wanted to kind of do maybe a series on how I did stop coloring it. And so today I'm going to do a video, and maybe I'll even start a new playlist called Thoughts on Thursday, because I'm trying to get this out on a Thursday. That's why it's kind of outside. This one is not going to be very edited. It's going to be pretty raw. I'm trying to do it in one take, so forgive me if there's any mess ups or mistakes, but trying to get it out to you on Thursday so I can start a new playlist called Thoughts on Thursday. And so I'll do a little series on my hair, and today we'll talk about why I decided to stop coloring and why I decided to go gray or silver. And so let me give you a little background on me and my hair. So when I was 16 years old, yes, 16 years old, I found my first gray hair. I had really dark hair, dark brown, almost black hair. And so I don't even know really how I found it, but somehow in that I found a gray hair when I was 16. And I got really it bothered me a lot. My mom grayed early, but she always colored it, so I never really thought of her as having gray hair. And when she was a brunette as well, but when my family, when I was about 6 or 7, moved to another state, she was coloring it herself, and she got it a little bit light. She accidentally bought a lighter shade, and she liked it, so she just kept getting lighter and lighter and ended up blonde. So my mom, for most of my remembrance of my life, and still is, blonde. But I didn't color in my teens. That wasn't really a thing in the 80s that you did in your teens. I guess maybe some people did, but I didn't. And I didn't have any friends that did, even just, like the bright colors like girls do now. That wasn't a trend then. But then I got into college and found more and more, and got into, after I graduated from college, into single life. And probably, I don't remember exactly, but probably about the age of 25, I started coloring it. And I went sometimes to the salon, depending on how much money I had, and sometimes I did it myself with a box, and just kept coloring it. And I don't know why it bothered me so much, but it really did. And I even had a really close kind of a second mom, a family from my church and college who adopted me, and she was like a mom to me, a mentor to me. And she, from most of the time I remember, being with her when I was in my 18, 19, 20, 21, when you're in college. She was 17 years older than me, so she wasn't, if I was 20, that would make her 37, so she wasn't very old either, but her hair was almost completely silver, even then. So I never thought anything negative about her hair, and thought she was beautiful, thought her hair was beautiful. So I don't know why it bothered me so much to have gray hair at that younger age, but it did, and I just kept coloring it. When I became pregnant with my son, my doctor said, you cannot color your hair, and that was just anguish. I can't believe, I was so utterly upset that she wouldn't let me color my hair, but I followed the doctor's orders, and for the health of my child, I wanted to make sure I didn't do anything that the doctor didn't want me to, so I didn't color it. And I had, a big, awful inch of gray, and I was 33 then, so it wasn't even really that noticeable. It was to me, but probably not that bad to a lot of people. But as soon as he was born, I was coloring it. But then probably my late 30s, early 40s, I began to get tired of the maintenance. It began to get grayer and grayer, and so it was more obvious that as it was growing out, and I had to keep it done more frequently. And the normal time you go between colorings is like 6 to 8 weeks, but I was beginning to get to a point where you could see I call it a skunk stripe in your part. When the color is growing out and you have that white part, I call that a skunk stripe, and I hated that. Just hated it. I hated the way it looked. So I would have to get it done or do it myself even more frequently, and that was more money, more time, more chemicals on my head, and I just began to get more and more bothered by it. I think especially by the health aspect of it, but it all bothered me, the money, the time, so whether I'm having to do it myself or whether I'm sitting in the salon chair for a long time having to get it colored. So I began to talk about going gray and talk about stopping the color, and didn't do it. I didn't have the guts. I don't know why, but I would even talk about, because I didn't want to have that skunk stripe, I'd even talk about shaving my head. But I, of course, was not brave enough to do that. My ears stick out, and I knew I would look terrible with a shaved head, so I didn't do that. But finally, at I think I was 47. It was in 2019. So it was before COVID. I finally said, I'm done. I'm tired of this. I don't want to do it anymore. I don't want to have all the chemicals on my head. So I'm going to stop. But I had a niece's wedding, and I didn't want to have the skunk stripe for her wedding. So the last time I had my hair colored was right before her wedding. And looking back at those pictures, and in future videos when I'm doing it where I can edit it, I'll show you some pictures. But looking back particularly at those pictures right after I had it colored, but even, 45, 46, 47, as I'm aging and my skin is aging, but my hair is still dark, 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 it looked bad. I think, now there's this, I can't think of the right word, but there's this idea that you see a gray-headed woman, a silver-haired woman, and she's old. But when you look at pictures of me at 46, 47 with the dark hair, I look older than I do now at 52. So it is August the 8th, 2024, and I'm 52 years old at the time of this recording. In 2019, when I was 47, I looked, in my opinion, older with that dark hair, and then you can really see where your skin is beginning to get older and you're beginning to age when it's against that hair. And for me, I did not like that, and that really bothered me, and I just didn't like the way I looked anymore, and I didn't like the chemicals and the money and the time. So for me, it was the choice that I made to do that. Now, a lot of people, they say they'll die till they die, and that's perfectly fine. There is no judgment here. If you prefer the way you look with your hair colored, with your hair purple, pink, magenta, whatever, there's no judgment here. You, in my opinion, you are perfectly welcome to color your hair, to not color your hair. There's no judgment on other people. It was just for me, and when I look in the mirror, when I look at pictures of myself, what I want to see is a more natural look. And what I want to see is more really how God made us to look as we age. And that for me, unfortunately, because I grayed so early, is almost a completely white head of hair. There's not a whole lot of brown left in here at the age of 52. And that's just the genes I got and the way God made me. And that's really okay. And it's really been amazing how I have come to appreciate it and to be okay with it. And of course, if I wasn't, I wouldn't have done it. If I get to a point where I don't like it anymore, I'll go back to dyeing it. But that's really kind of, from my perspective, why I wanted to stop the coloring and why I did it. And I do like it. Now, my husband, he likes it, and he was very encouraging and complimentary. Even my son, who was a teenager at the time, he's 18 now, so in 2019, what would that make him? 14-ish. He was fine with it. If either one of them had not been, I might have reconsidered. I don't know though, because it really, to me, is more important how I feel about how I look and what I see when I look in the mirror and when I look at pictures. But for those closest to me, if it had really bothered them, then I might have reconsidered. But my husband even began to get a lot of silver as well, and so that made it a little bit easier. And we've had discounts given to us without even asking. We get senior discount sometime, even though we're not the age to qualify quite yet. We're getting close, but a couple years ago we went to the movies, and the guy as a teenager, guy didn't even ask. He just gave us the senior discount price. So we'll take it. That's okay. and really, I'm getting to where I'm really okay with that. But again, if you don't like your hair silver. If you don't like silver hair, don't do it. Keep coloring. It's okay. I just want to emphasize that we need to really be accepting of ourselves and be happy with how we look and what we do to our own bodies and with our own hair. Well, it's beginning to get rather warm out here. It is August and in Texas, so I better cut off for now. But next time I will talk about how I went silver. So kind of the process that I went through, and I'll try to edit in some pictures so that you can see both before and after and during the process. So I hope you've enjoyed this. If you comment and you don't like my silver hair, that is okay, but please try to be nice. Please don't just say something mean to be mean. I'm open to constructive criticism, but I'd prefer not to have meanness. But please comment. Please tell me what you think about your own hair, and if you prefer to color or you prefer to let it go natural. There's a lot of people who are even coloring their hair silver. Younger people, of course. but I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I will be back soon. Talk to you later. Bye.